Let's take that.
Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire for the NASCAR Busch Series 200 presented by AT&T Unlimited. He is set to go. We're going to go trackside on a rather chilly and very blustery day here at Loudon for opening ceremonies.
New Hampshire.
The universe, pour out your blessings upon our country and all the nations of the earth, that our prayers and sacrifices bring an end to terrorism in our country and in the world. On this race day, bless and protect the drivers, pit crews, safety crews, and all workers here. Bless and protect all the race fans who have gathered here today to witness another exciting event in the field of auto racing. May we enjoy every moment of the race and return home safely at the end of the day. This weekend, we take a special moment to honor and celebrate the gift of motherhood.
Please remain standing for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner by Denise Doucette.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
And now to give the command that will send the field on its way in this afternoon's Busch 200, our Grand Marshal, Tom Brown.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
41 cars have fired. We're set to go racing at Loudon, New Hampshire for you on FX. The NASCAR Busch Series is ready to roll. Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire. Here's the STP starting grid for today's race. Shane Meal, fourth pole by a rookie this year. Bobby Hamilton Jr., first front row start in over a season. Todd Bodine right up there with Jason Keller, looking for back-to-back wins. Veteran Randy LaJoie, this is home track now. Greg Biffle. Stacy Compton, the good effort. Kenny Wallace, the 91 winner here. It was 300 laps then. Scott Riggs, the rookie, already has 2 wins, and Ashton Lewis, career best second last week. Kevin Grubb got his first top 10 of the season last week at Richmond, and Jack Sprague was last year's Truck Series winner here. Martin Truex Jr. doing the doubleheader, the Busch and the Busch North race that'll follow today, that you'll see one of those Monday nights on Speed Channel. And Ron Hornaday Jr. taking over from Lyndon Amick. And look back through the rest of this field. 41 cars are here, short of a full field and several fillers at the back.
See Casey Mears in the 66 car. He will have to move to the rear of the field. Made that engine change this morning. Was running hot in practice yesterday.
David Green subbing back behind the wheel, his 9th race here. Maine's Joe Bessie, first Busch Series start since he finished 2nd here last year. Andy Santerre, a favorite in the Busch North Series. Johnny Sauter making his first New Hampshire start.
Jimmy Kitchens had that good run at Talladega 2 or 3 weeks ago in Jimmy Means' car. These are all provisional here, starting with Brian Weber and Troy Klein.
Mike Johnson again from the Busch North Series, doing double duty. And Jeff Spraker, longtime Busch North competitor, worked with you at
Martinsville, good friend of Darrell Waltrip.
Yep. So here's our Locherman race analysis. 41 cars will start today's race. The field you see amended from 43 to 41. 85 to 95 laps we predict.
I know we think we always get stuck on that right there, but trust me, track position is so important. A few teams this morning in the garage area said, you know, we may, with enough cautions, we may can do this race on one stop around lap 100.
Never say never when it comes to fuel mileage, right, Larry?
Absolutely not.
An optimistic 60 degrees today. No rain in the forecast, clear blue sky.
I was going to say, this is what we like right here. Sunny. We like that part, especially on Mother's Day Saturday.
That's right. Race analysis brought to you by Locherman Ultra. 1 lap, and we'll go green. Going to ride along today with Mike McLaughlin, the MBNA cam, on board his number 18. Tony Raines.
This will be a good shot right here all day.
Bayer Aspirin cam. The Stacker 2 cam rides with Kenny Wallace.
Took one just a minute ago. Ready to go.
Was that Aspirin or a Stacker 2?
A Stacker 2, man.
Okay. And I know you called your mom on AT&T because here's the AT&T cam on board Jason Keller. The Johnsonville camera with Stacy Compton, number 59. And the Briggs & Stratton cam will ride with Greg Biffle in the number 60 today. All right, the Camaro safety car begins to stretch out the field. When they come off turn number 4, we're going to be set to go for 200 laps. Originally, this race was a 300-mile test for the Busch Series. Later amended to 200 miles. Shane Meal, Bobby Hamilton Jr. to start up front. Bringing it down slow. Green flag.
Green Grange, they bring him up through the gears and head off into turn 1.
Jason Keller in the 57 car getting to the bottom of the racetrack real quick. Greg Biffle in the 60 car, though, looks like he's going to be trapped on the outside.
Hamilton hits the gas. He's going to challenge for the lead.
Good drag race. They touch right there as they turn off into turn 3. Right now, these drivers still a little unsure about it. Look at them. Wham! I was just saying, they're unsure about these entrants in these corners with that different transition there.
Shane Meal leads the first lap.
He said he wanted to, and now he has. Be interested to see what he does.
Had to flail a little fender to do it,
yeah,
though.
he wanted it bad.
Hamilton second, Bodine third, Keller fourth. And look at this knot further back. Now that's Martin Truex Jr. in the number 1. Not Jimmy Spencer, who's taken the weekend off. Hank Jr., our guest commentator last night, up on the outside of Jamie McMurray.
Jay Sauter in the 21. This is a car that Jeff Green drives at a lot of the companion events.
That race was 14th place. Let's go back up front, where Meal leads Hamilton by about 2 car lengths.
You know, just watching Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car, that was one comment a lot of people made about turn 2 with this new
Trouble off of turn 2 right there. We got a car around already in the wall.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Boy, it didn't take long. That's Brian Weber in the number 84. Started this race back in provisional land in 38.
But what they like about the way it is over in turn 2, it's like you have more room now to get off the exit of the corner. You actually have 2 or 3 grooves over there to get off the corner.
So Weber brings out the first caution of the day at lap 3. Shane Meal has led every lap so far from Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Todd Bodine. Welcome back to New Hampshire. Look way over here on the right side of your screen, and you'll see Brian Weber spinning into view.
Yeah, Mike, I just happened to be looking down toward turn 2, and he just got away from him right there. Got up out of the groove just a little bit, and around she came.
So they've made some hasty repair. Gotten Weber back out. Now Jeff Burton's been in the pits with the hood up, Dick Berggren.
He's got some sort of an engine problem, Mike. They're not sure what it is. He has now shut the engine off. He came in as a pre-race favorite, having won 4 Winston Cup races. The motor is silent as the field comes down for the green.
Oh, we got trouble right there on the front straightaway. Kenny Wallace is around.
Ashton Lewis Jr., 46 cars into him. No caution flag yet. Everybody's going, but boy, that was jammed up big time there for a second.
Somebody missed a shift on that one right there. I can tell you that right now. He came down to the start-finish line.
Was it Lewis or Wallace who didn't get going? I think it was Ashton Lewis.
It's really hard to say right now, Mike, from our viewpoint right here.
And Stacy Compton off the pace.
I believe he's got some severe damage to the front nose of his car.
Got hard into the back of someone when all that happened from the Johnsonville camera on board Compton. And Jason Keller stove in the nose of his car as well. A lot of tire smoke there.
I believe that's out of Ashton Lewis Jr.'s car, the 46 car. A lot of damage on that left front. You can see the left front fender all kicked in against the tire. Well, I don't know. That don't look good. He's going to have to get on the pit road and get that fender pulled off. Boy, look, there's Stacy Compton's problems right there, the 59 car.
Let's see what happened here on this restart.
Coming down for the green flag. Oh, right there.
It wasn't that Lewis didn't get going on the restart. Somebody ran into somebody, and it all backed up from there.
And these guys restart normally, I think, in second gear here, so you got to go from second, third to fourth as you get up to speed. And if you miss a shift or don't go as quick as someone, especially in a single file restart that early in the race, a lot of cars, they get jammed up.
Yeah, you really do. And you got to remember one thing else. You got spotters up here on top of your tower right here hollering green, 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 go, go, go. And sometimes you don't pay attention.
Sixth place battle, Randy LaJoie with the new driver of the 26. That's Ron Hornaday.
And Ashton Lewis did bring his car to the pit road. He's going to bring her in and get that left front fender pulled off the tire.
Stacy Compton and Jason Keller stay out there with damage to the front ends of their cars.
See them changing right side tires. The tire rule here today is you can change 2 sets under caution. You can change as many as you want under green. So this will not count against his 2 sets.
Kevin Grubb to the inside of LaJoie. They touch. Here goes Scott Riggs.
Jay Sauter as well in the 21 car.
Nifty move by Riggs to take advantage.
Got to set them up where you can. They still got Kevin set up there on the high side. I don't think there's a lot of grip up there yet.
There's not a lot of grip, but Jeff, you know, I know we're only on lap 11, but I'm definitely seeing with this new track configuration more racing grooves than I think we've ever seen here before. Some have better grip than others, but they are able to run side by side.
Definitely so, and it'll be interesting to see as the race progresses and they get some more rubber down in that groove and kind of get a feel for where they need to be. Once again, a lot of these lines you're seeing right now weren't there earlier, and I believe we got a challenge for the lead if they're off of turn 4.
We got a big challenge with 4 cars there. Todd Bodine in the 92, Greg Biffle in the 60 car as well.
It's going to be a good thing that all these cars are already red, because they all will be in a few minutes the way they've been going at it.
We need to document that Jeff Burton in the 9 car, they have to that car behind the wall, so problem's not resolved on that car.
And Stacy Compton is on pit road. Dick?
Well, his big problem, Mike, is that the grill is all stove in. The water temperature was already up to 220 degrees, and they're going to have quite a project to be able to get air through that radiator because the hood is all mashed down, the grill is all mashed up. Crew member beating on the hood with his hand as the laps go by. Compton, not going to be a day that he is going to enjoy, but he will remember this one for sure.
Well, he came in here 7th in points. They've got to try to get him back out.
Yeah, and a blown engine will not make your day any better.
Let's look at Bobby Hamilton Jr. there in the 25 car. Talked to his crew chief, Fred Wanke, this morning. This is the same car that they was so dominant at Richmond. We heard Bobby Hamilton Jr. talk just a little bit about it. He talked about maybe losing the engine. He talked about maybe being out of fuel. They were not out of fuel, and I tell you what, our points leader, Jason Keller, 57, he's on pit road. but they were not out of fuel. The fuel cell was just not picking up enough fuel. And I believe Jason Keller may have a similar problem to Stacy Compton. The front end is all caved in on that race car.
And Larry I pretty much says that you can't run it much more than 2 or 3 laps when the air shut off on these race cars and not have the temperature go up. You've got to have a cool engine during the course of the race, or it will basically blow up, burn up.
The 4 cars damaged on that restart. Jason Keller front and back, the back end of Todd Bodine's car, the front end of Stacy Compton, and the left front on Ashton Lewis. Those were the 4 cars damaged on the restart.
Now, I know this is a mile racetrack, but a lot of teams treat it like a short track. Aerodynamics are important, but you can get by with hoods caved in and things of that nature, but you can't get by with the nose caved in where you can't get air to the radiator.
All right, let's have another look at the restart from the Stacker 2 on board of Kenny Wallace.
Kenny's kind of laying back there trying to get a run. Green flag's out. Oh, there we go. Stacy Compton.
Stacy Compton did not get going or something. Either missed a shift or just didn't get going on the restart.
Initially to us, it looked like either Lewis or Wallace had a problem. The problem was they had to jump on the brakes. That's why it looked like they weren't going anywhere. They couldn't.
They were all trying to jump out of line to keep them running over one another, and Kenny Wallace was very lucky he didn't get any worse than what he did.
Let's check with Dick.
Jason Keller's primary problem is the nose of the car. They're getting ready to bring him back in again. This time he may well go behind the wall to put a new radiator in the car. A crew member has a radiator in his hands. This is a tough break. This guy had been leading the points by 34 over Jack Sprague coming into this event, running at the finish of 34 consecutive races. Jason Keller doesn't crash except today. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. Everyone stacked up on that restart, but it was well behind Bobby Hamilton Jr., who leads now with Todd Bodine and Greg Biffle in tow. "23 laps complete. Bobby Hamilton Jr. leading Todd Bodine, Greg Biffle, Shane Meal, the pole sitter, and Jamie McMurray is up to 5th. Now from Stacy Compton, that's Jason Keller just in front on that restart.
For some reason, Jason Keller checked up there at the last second.
And Keller now behind the wall, where repairs continue to the Busch Series point leader.
As you can see, Mike, they're changing the radiator and everything on 57 car, trying to get him back there to try to score some more of those championship points everybody runs for.
David Green driving the 31 car. He's on pit road for 4 tires. Martin Truex Jr. in the 1 car, normally driven by Jimmy Spencer. He's been on pit road for about 5 or 6 laps. They've been under the car and under the hood, so he has a problem.
David Green's in this car, number 31, because Johnny Benson's still recovering from a broken rib at Richmond, driving for Ted Martin.
Last Saturday night, I think that's the same place we saw that 25 car. Out front, looked like he's going away with it.
And you know, I was telling a story, talking to Fred Wakey, his crew chief, Jeff. This racetrack a little similar to Richmond. They did not change the setup much on that race car and brought the same race car here.
They were pretty happy. But they did change the fuel set.
Watch that 27. Jamie McMurray, who just continues to improve and impress every week, going around the outside of Shane Meal, and that will change 4th place.
See, right behind them, Scott Riggs in that 10 car, of course, with Jason Keller, his teammate behind the wall. This is the only chance. PPC Racing, they have won 4 races in a row in 5 out of the 10 Busch races this year, with Scott Riggs winning 2, Jason Keller winning 3.
Another guy right now is making a move up through there. And that 26 car is Ron Hornaday Jr. started back in 16th position, and he's starting to close on these leaders quite quickly.
He is just ahead of Riggs.
This car really looks good coming up off the corner right now. He's making a lot of ground from the center out.
Ron Hornaday won a Craftsman Truck Series race here back in 1996, so he's pretty familiar with this racetrack.
Working on Shane Meal now, the pole sitter, for 5th place.
But you're right, Mike. Jamie McMurray in that 27 car, it's like every week this year, they're a little better, Top 10, now they're up here running in the top 5 today.
McMurray 11th in points. Only 2 points out of the top 10. Off the pace is the 31 in the back straightaway of David Green.
Martin Truex Jr. in the one car, he was back out on the racetrack. Looks like he's coming back to pit road again.
It's interesting to watch as these drivers try to find different lines around the racetrack. You see the dots around the corners to help indicate lanes and give the drivers some guidance. Let's go back to the garage area. Matt.
Mike, we caught up with Jeff Burton. And Jeff, when did you have an indication you had some kind of motor problem?
Well, right when that caution came out, it like backfired on the back straightaway and quit running. So I missed the boot ignition box. That didn't do anything. Hit the coil. That didn't do anything. And the number one cylinder is cold on it. So either broke a valve or a valve spring or something. Then it wouldn't even turn over. So ended up beating something up big.
Now, this is your golf game. You're going to come here and just have some fun.
I still had fun. I had a great time this weekend. Obviously, we didn't get, the result we wanted, but we had a really fast race car, and I had a good time. I'm disappointed, but I love what I do, and we had a ball this weekend. We ran well all weekend, and these things happen.
No points, no pressure. It was just going to be his golf Saturday here in New Hampshire.
Well, they'll have to take a mulligan on this one today, Matt, as will the 31 of David Green. That car is also being pushed behind the wall. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is our leader in the early going here at New Hampshire.
NASCAR Busch Series Racing on FX is brought to you by Stewart Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
A little bit of a traffic jam here at New Hampshire, but it's at the garage entrance as cars pulling out of this race at a kind of alarming rate. The 90, Phil Bonnefeld just slow in the backstretch. That is the backup car for Greg Biffle's team. Right here, Shane Neal trying to hold off the advances of Jay Sauter and the point-standing runner-up Jack Sprague.
Talk about the Craftsman Truck Series. Jay Sauter won a truck race here 2 or 3 years ago, driving for Richard Childress as well.
Jack Sprague won one last year.
Jack Sprague sitting there, he's second in the points, and Jason Keller, the points leader, behind the wall. Jack Sprague, one of only 3 drivers that has no DNFs in 2002, which would also include Stacy Compton and Jason Keller.
Both of whom have damaged race cars at present. Sprague is only 34 points away from retaking the lead. And with the attrition as high as it is, there's a good chance he'll do that today, even if he goes no further than halfway. Now, Keller's car is still being worked on behind the wall. The hood up and a lot of repair ongoing for Jason Keller. But for Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's just picking up right where he left off at Nashville.
At Richmond.
That was a while ago.
I mean, led 100
at Richmond last week.
Led 159 laps. Didn't look like anybody was going to catch him. Fred Winkie, they made that call to stay out. But once again, the motor did not blow on this race car, and he did not run out of fuel. He just was not picking up all that was available there. There were still 2 or 3 gallons in that fuel cell.
A little bit more of that story right there, Larry, is that Fred Winkie told me, he said he went and tested at Charlotte, and they actually pulled the fuel cell out of that car and threw it over close to the dumpster. He said, I wouldn't even mess with it. I was so mad at the end of that race. He's about wasted before I could ever go and really find out what happened to it. And they figured out what the problem was. It was a pickup issue. Got that replaced, and they know today that they can go the distance if they need to.
You know, look at Shane Neal right there in the 47 car. Talk to Jerry Kent and his crew chief. You heard Dick Bergman talk about the video games this morning, and Jerry said he came by the shop earlier this week. He said, I'm going to be good at Loudon this week. Jerry said, how you know that? You've never even seen the place. He said, I've got it down pat on my video game. He said, by the way, Jerry, are we going to St. Louis and test? Jerry said, I don't know why. He says, I'm nervous. I don't have that on my video.
Have to add that to the package, I guess. Now back in the garage area, a lot of work going on. Here's Matt.
Mike, a disappointing day for Martin Truex Jr. The 22-year-old had high hopes. New Hampshire, the site of his first Busch North win, hoping for a good opportunity today here in the #1 car. But Johnny Allen, the car chief, told me a broken left front rotor is the culprit. They're going to try to fix it and see if they can get him back out just to gain some more Busch Series experience here. But a disappointing day nonetheless.
Now to update that story from last Friday night. at Richmond, where Jimmy Spencer peeled out of the pits and tore the rear end loose from the rear spring. NASCAR officials had a sharp look over that car after that happened.
Yeah, what it did, it broke one of the U-boats that holds the rear end in place on the trailing arm, and what they found after further investigating is that U-boat had actually been drilled out, which is not legal, and unfortunately crew chief Mark Reno was fined this past week for a rule infraction about the drilled out U-boat.
Hollowed out to save weight, and instead of they saved a couple of, maybe they saved a half a pound, but what it cost them, $20-some thousand maybe.
Exactly, and that's the reason why NASCAR doesn't allow that. It's a good reason why they do not allow you to drill anything as far as the safety issue is concerned.
No Swiss cheese allowed.
No.
This is a battle right here for fifth. Ron Hornaday Jr. in the 26 car. Randy LaJoy at 7. Heard him talk in his pre-race interview. They tested Nazareth with this car. This is a brand new race car. The hope should be after this week, going to Nazareth next week, is to run this car there as well. Very similar racetracks.
Coming up on quarter distance at Loudon, Bobby Hamilton Jr. firmly in the lead, 2.4 seconds over Todd Bodine. Here are the point standings for the NASCAR Busch Series, brought to you by Rent-A-Center. As they stand right at this moment, Jack Sprague would take over the point lead. Welcome back to Loudon. Bobby Hamilton Jr. just putting a lap on Larry Foyt here at the 50-lap mark. Biffle and Bodine change at second place. Greg Biffle has passed Todd Bodine for second. So it's Hamilton, Biffle, Bodine. McMurray holds on to fourth, and Randy LaJoy has moved up to fifth. So let's show you that change for second place.
It's a little bit like what Jeff Burton said earlier. He was able to get his nose down underneath Todd Bodine right there in the middle of that corner and make the pass.
And Todd Bodine saw that Biffle was a little bit quicker, and he just rolled out of the throttle earlier, getting down in turn one, let Biffle go ahead. No sense in pushing the envelope here a fourth of the way through this race. Biffle finished 11th in this race last year on his Busch Series race here, but boy, he's been good in the Craftsman Truck Series, a second and 2/4.
You see the 31 just in front of Greg Biffle. David Green is back on track, and Jason Keller has returned to the Speedway as well.
I mean, 52 laps in this race, you can hear Biffle when we go to his in-car. You almost have to drive this thing with the throttle pedal as much as you do the steering wheel. You can't just mat it off the corner. You think it's ready to bite, you hit the throttle, it don't. You back and forth, driving it with that throttle pedal just as much.
As well as the bottom of your pants, you might say, seat of your pants. You start feeling that car hook up, you give a little more throttle. If you feel like kind of come loose, you've got to roll back out of it.
That's how I was feeling last night. That's the reason I wasn't matting it off the corner.
You really helped that guy, because I know he won the race after you got out of it, so you must have done give him a lot of good input.
I'd give anybody confidence.
Shane Neal trying to hold off Jay Sauter and Jack Sprague.
Battle for 8.
Phil Bonnefeld's gone to the garage. That's Sprague's, that's Biffle's backup car. As we hit 54 laps. Hamilton Jr. now that Biffle's in second place, his lead is diminishing. Greg Biffle has cut it down to 1.4 seconds and continues to close in on the leader. Only one caution so far, a minor one, but on the restart, things got really jumbled up. Welcome back to Loudon. 59 laps have been completed. Inside Winston Cup Monday night at 7 on Speed Channel and Trackside live from Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. That's Friday night at 10 p.m. on the Speed Channel with Darrell, Larry, Jeff, and Steve Burns to preview the All-Star Racing on Saturday. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has opened it up to 2.3 seconds on Greg Biffle and Todd Bodine. And let me correct myself. Phil Bonnefeld's car was painted a mirror image of Greg Biffle's, but a different sponsor, different make. Those were not team cars. Sorry, Phil. Now, In the ongoing grudge between the Hollywood Hotel and the NASCAR on Fox pit crew, Jeff Hammond scored a big one for the hotel last night with his win in the Cane & Coups. But Dick Berggren is going to enlist some support for his side.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are ready to join the Marines here because Hamilton is not only sponsored by the Marines, his pit is full of Marines. There's a full half dozen of them here. Kyle Power, the rear tire changer, is wearing a Marine helmet up on the box right now. Captain Daniel Kreider, Major Andrew Smith watching. Crew Chief Fred Wanke has given up his box so the Marines could be here. These guys gave out 1,000 carnations to 1,000 moms who showed up here at the New Hampshire Speedway as they walked their way on in. To Matt Yoakum.
Dick, in the last lap, Jack Sprague just climbed from 10th to 9th. I stopped by his car this morning. His crew chief, Dennis Conner, told me, I said, how many changes are you guys going to make for today? He said, let me pull out the piece of paper and show you. He goes, you have to count them up. I counted, it was 19. While standing there, a crew member walked up. Dennis said, add 2 more. He said, we have just flat missed it. We're surprised, but it really felt like with our truck experience and success here, we would be better, but they're still learning the nuances of Busch Series racing versus Truck Series racing. But keep in mind, Sprague is due, still searching for his first career Busch Series win.
He sits 9th right now, Matt, challenging for 8th to the inside of Shane Meal. Meal a little higher up the racetrack, but Sprague so far unable to find his way by. Jay Sauter with them, and then Kevin Grubb a little further back.
No, I've been clocking our 2 leaders here the last few laps. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25, Greg Biffle in the 60. Each lap, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is about a 10th quicker than Greg Biffle when they're in clean traffic. But still here, 65 laps into this race on these tires, they're running around 30 flat. That says a lot for the Goodyear tire. They only qualified at like 29.43 Shane Mill's pole speed. This is where it gets tricky. This is where we talk about the young guys really having to show patience right here as Bobby Hamilton Jr. starts coming up on this lap traffic. You see Scott Wimmer in a 23 car, but he's picking him up laying down because Scott Wimmer is in the 21st position.
And one thing I'd like to add right here, Larry, is that when you say something like that, that's one thing I think Bobby Hamilton Jr. has improved upon since a year ago. A year ago, at this time, he was like 20th in the point position. This year, he's up to 10th. That's an improvement of 10 positions. So that tells you right quick that the combination of Fred Wanke as well as Bobby Hamilton Jr. and the Team Marine car is really working well for him.
I think Bobby Hamilton Jr. needed somebody like Fred Wanke. Has that experience, somebody that'll believe in him, but yet he'll believe in Fred Wanke.
What was neat about that race last Friday night at Richmond was it had 3 sure winners. First off, nobody could catch Ward Burton. Then nobody could touch Jimmy Spencer, and he broke. And then nobody could touch Bobby Hamilton, and none of them won it.
And it was almost the same way in the Winston Cup race. Tony Raines in the 33 car, he's on pit road. Matt Yoakum, what's the problem?
Larry, they were hoping to stretch it out at least 20 more laps before they pitted. Apparently, Tony reported in that he had a severe vibration on his right rear. They're going to try to hold off until a caution. He worked from 27th all the way up to 15th, but then they finally decided they couldn't hold out any longer and pitted. He may need to use some of his sponsor later today.
There's no question this race right now has that green flag look to it, so we could definitely see some strategy coming out here as we approached lap 100. Some teams saying they can go it on one stop.
Wow. We've only had one caution. It was a brief one at lap 3 when Brian Weber spun into the wall by himself, but 4 cars got banged up on the restart, including our pole sitter, or point leader rather. We'll be right back. New leader at Loudon. Greg Biffle has passed Bobby Hamilton Jr. to become the 3rd different leader of the day. Shane Meal led 11 laps. Hamilton for 61, and then this.
What really enabled Greg Biffle in the 60 to catch Bobby Hamilton Jr. was lap traffic. They've been following for about 8 or 10 laps, but look, we've not seen anybody be able to run that low as Greg Biffle in the 60 car when he needs to.
Now, again, we talk about what crew chiefs say. I was talking to Randy Gosling. He said, I'm going to tell you something about Biffle. He has got an eagle eye, and he can figure out how to figure a line out around the racetrack better than anybody else has ever worked with. And when these guys didn't have those lines to work with yesterday and took the cones up, it really messed him up. But he's been able to figure it out quite quickly today, and he's really brought that car to the front.
Another fellow who's figured it out, Jeff, is Ron Hornaday. Hornaday was trailing a pack of cars and worked his way through them. That pack includes Jack Sprague, Scott Riggs, and we saw him battle Shane Meal. But Hornaday's moved up onto the leaderboard right there in 6th place now.
Oh, we got trouble here on the front straightaway. 60 car to Lucky blew an engine.
Greg Biffle goes up in smoke. No caution. New leader.
Caution is out now. They looked at the racetrack, decided there he did put some oil down, so we have a caution here on lap 76.
Larry, that caution is going to make a lot of crew chiefs happy.
Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. I mean, we've got Scott Wimmer, Casey Mears, a lot of those guys, Shane Hall, just about to go a lap down.
And everybody who was counting on green flag pit stops and wondering when to make those now has the luxury of the caution flag.
Well, it's the good news, bad news. We definitely want to pit now, 4 tires and full of fuel, but nobody could make it from here. So should we go green the rest of the way, then the question comes when to come in and get that fuel at the end. No question, everybody will be on pit road.
Right. Greg Biffle rolls onto the infield road course, that being the short way back to the garage here at New Hampshire International, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes back into the lead ahead of Todd Bodine. Randy LaJoy, who quietly slipped up to 3rd place, and Jamie McMurray.
That's 2 of the Roush motors here today. Jeff Burton in the 9 car having a problem. Now Greg Biffle in the 60 car having a problem.
Now remember when we started early this race that we talked a little bit about gear selection. We're trying to make the right decision, and some of the guys were talking about they needed to change valve springs, really concerned about whether or not the RPM would be right. And I'm sure these guys right now have had problems because it sounds like they have a valve train problem. Lost 2 engines here already.
It's only the 2nd DNF for Biffle, if indeed he's out of the race. He lost an engine at Talladega. A 7-11 triple pit. Todd Bodine in the middle, Jack Sprague at the bottom. Matt.
Jack Sprague trying to capitalize on Jason Keller's bad luck and retake that points lead. His car was tight on entry, tight in the center. They made a wedge adjustment and air pressure adjustment in the right front, and he is down and away.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. is in for a pit stop. He's going to take 4 tires, but it's a lengthy pit stop. The crew is going to pull out the right front fender and the left front fender. Hamilton lost lots of spots on pit road. Just before that pit stop, crew chief Fred Wanke had told him, track position is everything. Let's do this quick. They didn't.
I believe Todd Bodine and the 92 group, they won the battle off pit road. Everybody taking 4 tires full of fuel and making those adjustments after finally getting 78 laps in the books.
2nd caution of the day out for Greg Biffle. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on FX. First time in a while that I can remember that none of the top 5 came out in the positions they went into the pit.
Yeah, but this, I talked to Fred Wanke this morning. Look at that right there. In 1st, out 6. You can't do that. You can't give up that kind of positions on pit road.
And it's one thing getting beat by the competition, Larry. Another thing when you beat yourself.
You can pass them in 1 pit stop on pit road. If you lose positions, it can take you 10 laps to pass those 5 cars back.
Welcome back to New Hampshire. The Busch 200 on FX, presented by AT&T Unlimited. Ron Hornaday made an extra pit stop, put the hood up, put him to the tail end of the lead lap, but he's still out there. Let's check with Matt.
Down here in Jack Sprague's pit. Dennis Conner, you made 21 changes, and then after I left, you made 2 more, so 23 changes. You guys gambled a little bit. It looks like it's paying off.
Well, there really wasn't any gambling to it. It was kind of a sure thing. We were teetotal absolute junk yesterday in practice, so anything we could do to it stood to make it better. And these Net Zero guys worked really hard this morning making all the changes that I came up with in my sleep last night, which did total about 23 of them. And I told Jack that more than likely it was going to be too loose on the start, and the track would come to him. And when we had that caution right off the bat, he said that it was extremely loose, and said it didn't surprise me, but it seems to have come to him. Right now at the end of that run, he was getting just a little bit tight. So it's pretty amazing that you can change 23 things and come out relatively decent, but it's not even half over yet, so we'll just have to see how we do.
And a great job by the guys on pit road. They picked up 2 spots on pit road, Dick.
Well, Todd Bodine's team did a crackerjack job on their pit stop, and they put their guy out in the lead. Crew Chief Rambo Liberati said they made no changes to the car, but my spotter, Jeff Props, was listening, and he heard air pressure, 1/2 pound in the right rear, 1/2 pound out of the right front. And just before that, we heard Bodine say the car was sliding around on the racetrack. So sometimes you just got to eavesdrop to get the whole story, Mike.
How could they make all those changes without Tony knowing it? That's hard to figure.
But you know, this is Loudon, and what I heard Dennis Conner talking about is typical Loudon. It happens a lot of racetracks we go to. You're a little bit loose in the beginning of the race. More and more rubber gets laid on the racetrack, and the racetrack, it's not like the car gets better, but the racetrack actually comes to the car. The car gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And as you said, he was actually a little too tight at the end of that run.
You get to working right there. And when we talk about how the rubber goes down on the racetrack, as the race car slides across the racetrack, it actually kind of puts rubber through and into that surface right there, and the racetrack goes through kind of a change right there. The race cars have to adapt to it as well as the drivers.
So we're getting set for the restart after only the second caution today, and Todd Bodine in his 8th start in the number 92. 4th at Talladega, only one DNF since he joined that ride. Crashed at Richmond last week.
Tony Raines in the 33 car, he'll be at the inside of the front line. Remember, he made that green flag stop on lap 67. Right there, he's on the verge of being 2 laps down, on the verge of getting one of those 2 back.
It's Raines. Well, okay.
Oh, man.
Happy Mother's Day. They want us to crank it up.
So crank the surround sound up and sit back, relax, and enjoy about 34,000 horsepower.
Second place behind Todd Bodine. Bobby Hamilton Jr. racing Scott Riggs. That's at 5th place.
Boy, his car really goes through the middle of the corner. Looked like he jumped in the throttle low. Car wiggled a little bit with him. He had to jump back out of the throttle. He makes the pass on Scott Riggs, and that's the battle for 5th.
While y'all were watching that, I was watching that restart. Jeff Burton said we were having some exciting restarts. We sure did. Going off the turn 3 minutes ago, we were 3 and 4 wide. Casey Beers was all up there, I guess, almost against the wall, and somehow they kept it off the wall. But it's getting wild woolly during these restarts.
Sauter and Riggs side by side as you watch from Mike McLaughlin's DNA camera.
You know, look at there, he started 19th. He's worked his way into the top 10. And he's the only driver in the race today that has now competed in all 16 of these New Hampshire International Speedway Busch Series races. Won here in 1997 and settled the pole in 1995.
Back to single file.
Pretty much all the cars here on fresh tires. They're about a lane off the bottom. And before this transition change at the bottom of the racetrack where they actually took banking away, everybody would be right around the bottom, no more than about a foot off that yellow line right there. You see all of them letting it drift up there into that second groove.
All right, we mentioned Ron Hornaday made an extra pit stop under that caution, and more work went on down there in front of Dick Berggren.
Hornaday's extra pit stop, Mike, was because he had a sticking throttle, sticking open. They hope they've got that fixed. Meanwhile, Jason Keller's car sits on pit road. The crew under the hood of that automobile, they are still losing water. They are hopeful it is a radiator leak or a connection to the radiator, because if that's engine, he's in trouble. He came into this event as the point leader.
Thanks, Dick Hamilton battling Sprague. 4th place now. Riggs behind them. And McLaughlin. 8 laps to halfway. Well, Larry, what we're seeing here certainly bodes well for Winston Cup when they return in July and September for 2 races this year.
Well, and again, Jeff Burton and I had that conversation this morning, and he definitely, after coming here and running or trying to complete a few laps of the Busch Series races, he's already out of the races, said that, it's given him a good feel that we can't have some side-by-side racing here. We can't have passing. And one thing that he did mention to me that I kind of alluded to is the fact that when you're running in the second, third groove from a safety standpoint, it's a shorter distance to that wall, too, should you have a problem.
One thing I was really surprised about is at conference, that Jeff did say all these things about this racetrack made him feel so much more. I think, like you say, let's come back here next week and race now. I've got an idea what I need to do in my race car.
There may not be a race promoter in the country who puts more care into what the competitors think of his facility than Bob and Gary Bear. They spent $60 million to build this place and probably another 20 or more in improvements since of their money. This is not a public corporation. It's a privately owned track. And now they're talking to Tony George about the soft wall technology that debuted last week at Indianapolis at the Speedway.
And I talked to Jim McMurray way high there for 30 off 3 and 4 right there. And Randy LaJoy is going to make the pass on him to take second place away.
I talked to Jim Hunter with NASCAR this morning, and they, along with Bob Bear with the Speedway, they are going to watch the results at Indianapolis over the next 2 weeks because, as you said, Mike, Bob Bear has made that commitment that he will spend that money to put soft walls in here at Loudon, New Hampshire International Speedway.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. now has closed up on McMurray. He's in danger of losing third. McMurray's best finish at Nashville, 7th 5 races ago. He was 9th last week. Continuing to impress, but right now he's got a mirror full of Hamilton.
Right through the middle of the corner, right where you pick the throttle up. That seems like that's where Bobby Hamilton Jr. is so much stronger than everybody he catches. Right through the middle.
As at Richmond last Friday night.
You just don't need to get impatient here. He still has half this race to go. Don't overdrive that race car. Don't abuse those tires.
Second, third, and fourth the battle. Todd Bodine now 2 seconds ahead of Randy LaJoy. Here it goes for third. Hamilton Jr. inside of McMurray, third place.
Just worked him, found where he was the weakest, found out where he was the strongest, and then made the pass.
So Hamilton, who lost a lot of spots on pit road, is marching his way back toward the front. Todd Bodine leads as we're just 2 laps from halfway in the Busch 200 on FX, presented by AT&T Unlimited. Todd Bodine is making this look like Paul Revere's ride here in New England. He is 2.7 seconds up on Bobby Hamilton Jr. But if the British are coming, well, that would be Hamilton.
Well, the British are coming. These two guys are in clean air, clean traffic, not fighting other lap cars right now. Every lap, Bobby Hamilton Jr. right here in the 25 car, he's about a 1/10 and a half quicker than Todd Bodine.
Here's how Hamilton Jr. got past Randy LaJoy for second place.
Position way getting down into turn 1, moved right into second place.
It looks, Larry, like, and Jeff, like you can run down into the corner a lot lower and move somebody up the racetrack with this configuration a lot easier than before.
Well, it's like Jeff Burton said in our pre-race show. Before, it was a groove and a half. It's always been a groove and a half, but 2 cars won't fit in a groove and a half. Now, there's 2 distinct grooves down in the corner.
And not to mention the fact when you do get the car turned in the middle of the corner now, you've got a little bit better exit line coming up off there. You can get down a little bit lower across that bottom corner coming off like 2 or 4, and the cars seem like run better up off those areas.
Well, we're 5 laps past halfway. The good news for Todd Bodine of the first 15 Busch races here at New Hampshire, the leader of the halfway has won 6 of the 15 races. The bad news is in 2002, only 1 of the 10 winners has led halfway.
For more, Dick Berggren.
Well, Todd Bodine has had kind of an up and down week. The up part you're watching right now as he leads this race in New Hampshire. The down part is that he was one of the candidates to replace Jerry Nadeau in the seat of the number 25 Hendrick car. And all week long it was up and down and up and down. He thought he maybe was going to get the ride. He did not get the ride in that automobile. Here's a guy that has repeatedly been left rideless because of sponsor problems. He hasn't won in this series or any other series for more than a year. This is his best ride all year long, his best chance to win and erase the pain of losing that ride in Winston Cup that he so desperately wanted. To Matt.
Dick, it's not a good sign as far as the points race goes to see Greg Biffle in the street clothes so early. This has not been a good day for the Roush engine program.
No, it hasn't. I'll tell you, Edgar builds really good engines, and he told us before the race we were turning at too many RPM, and with these colder temperature today, we didn't think it was going to be this cold. We should have taken gear out of it. We knew better. We were just being greedy, and we broke the engine by turning too many RPM. But, you know, I'd just like to thank Bill and everybody back in the shop, Tate, Jim, building us great cars every week. We had a car to win here today, and it's really unfortunate for the whole team. It'll hurt us in the points, but you know, everybody's pretty excited about how well we were running, so we're just back to the drawing board.
The car's going up on the lift. Biffle's heading home early.
He came in here 5th in points.
And cooler air makes more power, turns more RPMs. These guys pulling 471, 478 gears, turning a lot of RPMs. These straightaways are so long, and Jeff, what hurts you here is it's what we call a hanging RPMs. They stay there for a long period of time at the end of these long straightaways. Very hard on valve springs and valves.
Definitely so.
Jason Keller made another pit stop, the point leader. Got caught up on that restart off the first caution, had a lot of damage, but he's still out there piling up points. Todd Bodine's our leader. '86 to go at Loudon, where you see Jamie McMurray and Jack Sprague battling for 4th place. Next Saturday night on FX, Stock Car Racing's All-Star Tilt, the Winston. If you log on to NASCAR.com, you can pick the pack for the 2nd year in a row. Fans can go online and determine the running order for the final segment of the Winston. Go to NASCAR.com, look for Pick the Pack, and cast your vote now.
And I can't wait till next Saturday. 27 cars, 90 laps. I mean, the winner taking home $750,000. $750,000. Boy, it's going to be awesome under the lights.
And I love this go fast or go home format.
No sandbagging.
Oh, no.
No strategy here. It's all flat to the floor. Get after it. How does Darrell say it? It's all boogity, boogity, boogity time, baby. All 3 seconds.
We need to document that our points leader coming into this event, Jason Keller in the 57 car, he was back out on the racetrack. He was on pit road a couple of times. Now, unfortunately, Matt Yoakum, he's in the garage here.
Larry Mackey's climbed out of his 57 machine, and Jason, your car looks more like it was at Bristol. Your day started bad right from the start.
It really did. I don't really know what happened in front of me. They thought they were going to take off, and then they didn't. But it's unfortunate for the Albertsons Ford. We're running well, but, you know, we don't have a whole lot to show for it. But we keep running like this, we'll be okay. Tell Deb and the kids hi, and when I get home with them tonight, all this doesn't matter.
Motor expire?
Yeah, it finally went bad. You know, we tried. This radiator went out of it, and ran it a little hot.
Jason Keller came in, the points leader, to me.
Hasn't failed to finish a race since Talladega a year ago. That was 35 races ago. Car up almost into the wall at turns 1 and 2. They had a lot of almost today. Look, Jimmy Kitchens. Everybody gets by him without incident, but looks as if we're on the verge of there's Kitchens. No damage to that car, just slid way up the hill and almost up the wall. We could be on the verge of a lead change right here as Bodine has been caught by Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 2 red cars.
I was definitely saying Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's all over the back of that 92 car, and as you saw, Mike, we talked about catching these lap cars. Definitely makes a difference the way that leader has to run this racetrack.
Jeff, when you have a pit miscue like Hamilton Jr.'s team did, how do you get to that driver, keep him calm down, and keep him focused on what he's got to do, not on what the pit crew might have not done well?
Well, that's where you as a crew chief have got to be part psychologist. You've got to get back in his head and explain to him, look, we won't do it again, but you got to help us out. You got to take care of yourself. The best way to take care of yourself is go back out there and regain the lead, and let's show them the way home. Now, we got another pit stop getting ready to come up, and that could be the interesting part. Dick, I believe you got some more information on this.
Yeah, I do. Fred Wanke, the crew chief on Bobby Hamilton's number 25 car, a few laps after that pit stop, assembled the entire team. He got them into what looked like a football huddle, and what he told them was that they did not want to get down on themselves. They had to keep their motivation up. You're seeing pictures of that huddle right now, and get ready for the next stop. Hamilton is going to have adjustments made to his car on that stop. The car is running a bit loose. He has been told on the radio, take care of the right front. He's still got a fair bit of racing to go, and all day long, repeatedly, they have told him, take care of your fenders. I've already bet one of those things in on number 25, Hamilton Jr.
79 laps, including one more pit stop to go.
Yeah, I mean, the worst feeling in the world for a pit crew is to give up that much time on pit road and lose that many positions. The greatest feeling is you've overcome it here. You're back up there battling for the lead. As you said, Jeff, there's another chance to redeem ourselves here. One more stop to go.
But as a good coach would do, Fred Wanke got down there and routed the troops, and I think they'll be ready next time he comes around to make that pit stop.
Todd Bodine, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Randy LaJoie. Then it's Jack Sprague and Jamie McMurray on pace for a best ever finish. Scott Riggs and Mike McLaughlin here at Loudon. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has made up everything that was lost on pit road and then some. He's the new leader. Second time he has led today. The third time, rather. He's led 64 laps. Here's the lead change just a lap and a half ago.
And he just turns it right there in the middle of the corner and gets down underneath him coming up off of turn 2. Holds that position as they enter turn 3 and completes the pass.
And you saw there, I think, one reason why
we got a car losing the engine right there, or a tire 1 off of turn 4, 21 car.
Jay Sauter in trouble. Smoke from the left side of the car. No caution.
And he was running in the 9th position. Really going to hurt him today.
But Larry, we go back and we talk about this racetrack and new configuration and everything kind of thrown into the mix here. New tires and RPM may be the culprit one more time as far as these cars are concerned.
Yeah, it definitely has all the look of an engine problem. I believe he has the exhaust out the right side there. That's coming out the right side exhaust pipes. A lot of cars have the exhaust exiting out the right side, and I believe his day may be to an end. See, Bobby Hamilton Jr. putting Kenny Wallace a lap down. Kenny's running in the 18th position. I talked to that group this morning. They never could get that car where Kenny was wanting here. And normally Kenny runs good here, whether it's in a Busch car or in a Winston Cup car.
The one thing we might want to add
Caution.
is that
Caution is out.
Track.
And that is why you saw Kenny Wallace easily drive by Bobby Hamilton Jr. because the caution was out, and that was a friendly wave out the window by Wallace as Hamilton has let several cars get back on the lead lap.
The 33 car also got one back. Tony Raines, he came off of turn 4 and beat Bobby Hamilton Jr. back to the flag.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tony Raines just had made another green flag stop. It's almost like today, Tony Raines makes a green flag stop. You almost know a caution's coming. That's twice it's happened today.
So that caution is out for Jay Sauter, who had fluid coming out of his car. That happens at lap 131.
And I think it's safe to say that this will take strategy out of the race. We're here at about 69 laps to go. It's been about 40 or 50 laps since everybody was on pit road. Come to pit road, get your 4 tires, fill it up with fuel. You can go to the end from here.
And don't make any mistakes.
No mistakes.
And all the eyes right now will be on the 25 car to see whether or not they can get Bobby Hamilton Jr. off pit road with no problems this time and maintain this lead.
And don't be surprised if you don't see maybe some of the cars running at the back, further back on the lead lap. It may take 2 tires to get that track position.
Matt?
Well, Jack Sprague is reporting in that his car is a loose on entry, but not that bad of a loose entry. The car is, though, tight in the center. He does like the car in long runs, so they're not going to make any adjustments. Just 4 tires. They're going to pack that fuel cell full of fuel. Sid Bergeron.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. pits out of the lead. He had a bad pit stop the last time around. One round a wedge out of the right rear of the car. Crew on the left side. They're going to be beaten out of pit road by Scott Riggs, number 10. This is a 4-tire chase. They're going to be beaten by Todd Bodine. Hamilton goes out 3rd and 4th.
Jeff, Scott Riggs in the 10 car. He won the battle off pit road, but he did it. 2 tires.
2 tires.
5th, got that track position leading this race with 2 tires.
Interesting strategy. We'll see how it plays out. Green flag to restart the Busch 200 on FX, presented by AT&T Unlimited. And Scott Riggs, who took on 2 tires, goes way up the racetrack and loses the lead.
And I would say what that's a product of, possibly, unless he has another problem. He maybe had buildup of debris, rubber and stuff on his left side tires, because remember, they've been on there for 50 laps. Very hot, pick up all that trash.
He's very lucky he didn't get in that outside wall that time. That thing really took off and went up the racetrack.
It'll make you think you've got a flat tire.
Oh.
Kenny Wallace gets a lap back, so does Tony Raines. And Shane Meal, the pole sitter, is once again the leader, with Todd Bodine in second. Now, Bobby Hamilton Jr. was right up there, but Dick Berger and Hamilton came back into the pits a second time during this caution.
Another tire problem, Mike. This time it was the left rear that didn't get all the lugs tight. He had to come back in. He had been the leader before that round of pit stops. After having coming in to make the second pit stop, he came out the last car on the lead lap. We should also point out, car 47, Shane Meal, took just 2 tires on that pit stop. Just like the number 10 of Scott Riggs, Meal running up in the front of the pack right now, but with just 2 fresh tires. His dad is his spotter, that's Steve Meal, coaching him. Never all day has he told him go fast. He has just told him to take care of the equipment. Be careful, be calm, be smooth.
Still a long way to go. 62 laps, 61 when they come back.
You know, Jeff, I don't disagree with that 2-tire call, because we've seen it at Loudon. And we talked earlier where these guys were up almost 70-something laps on their first set of tires. They'd only give up a half a second. You know, I'd rather be out front with 2 tires than back there at 10th or 12th with 4 fresh tires.
Exactly right. And walking through the garage here, I saw tires that had 32 and 50 laps on them, and the left sides really look good. You can still see the mold mark.
Let's check with Matt.
Mike down here in Mike McLaughlin's pit is crew chief Timmy Shutt. You took 4 tires. How is that 18 car?
Today we've just been a little bit tight, late exit. We should be pretty good to go here. Put a little bit more stagger in that last set and made just a little bit of air pressure adjustment. They say this is the magic mile. We'll see what kind of magic they have here for us today.
Mike's looking for his second Busch Series win here. He won here in 97. Timmy Shutt looking for his second career Busch Series victory this afternoon.
Laughlin third. Jack Sprague is fourth. McMurray fifth. Riggs slid back to sixth after the restart, and Randy LaJoie seventh. Hamilton is back at 15th. He's passed a bunch of cars, and Larry, he's been taking no prisoners.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, we heard him talk. He was the last car on the lead lap at that restart. It was 17th. With all the lap cars, that's like restarting 34th. That's 34 cars you have to pass. I'm just not sure if you can get there in the shorter distance we have to go.
Well, look how he was trying to do it here in the back straightaway. Underneath Hornaday, who went underneath Purvis, who almost climbed over Tim Sauter.
But Bobby Hamilton Jr., he saw that was not going to work right there. 3 wide will not work on the entrance of turn 3. Not enough racetrack.
Again, showing a lot of right there composure. Will know he's got probably one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. You've got to make sure you don't knock the fenders off of it. If he does his job, he's still got time to get back to the front.
Hornaday just went up there and hip checked Purvis for 14th place.
He goes by Ricky Hendrick in the 5 car right there, Bobby Hamilton Jr. You know, he's having a good run here. He's sitting back in the 12th spot, started 25th. Remember, last week at Richmond was his first race back since the injuries at Las Vegas.
We had the 48 car, Kenny Wallace, coming down pit road. Sure, that's an unexpected stop right there.
Yeah, he'd gotten back to the lead lap. And Kerry Earnhardt, who had a strong run early in the going, now he's gone 2 laps down there at 19th on the inside. Meanwhile, Riggs and Randy LaJoie continue to battle it out for 6th place. Dick?
LaJoie had a really tough pit stop, Mike. He came in third. He went out in the 7th spot. The problem was with the rear tire. One of the rear tires hung up. Meanwhile, one of his gas guys got fuel in his eyes. So a tough pit stop for LaJoie. The good part of it is...
Oh, we got trouble in turn 2.
Trouble in turn 2.
Ricky Hendrick going into turn 1 on the outside of other cars. Got up in the marbles and into the fence. Caution is out at lap 145. 4th caution of the day.
Well, pretty much it's safe to say none of the leaders will be on pit road. Not only have we only ran about 9 laps, but remember, 2 sets of tires under caution. All the leaders that changed 4 tires, which is most everybody that's out there, they've already used those 2 sets of tires.
The 5 of Hendrick.
just entered that corner a little bit too high, I believe, Jeff, up there where there's no grip.
No grip right at that part right there.
Not a lot of damage. Ricky was able to drive it away and bring it around to pit road. So we're under the 4th caution at New Hampshire with 55 laps to go. Welcome back to Loudon. Here's what else we haven't done today. Pep Boys Trivia. Which active Busch Series track has hosted the most races without a repeat winner?
Uh-oh.
If you were with us at the top of the show, you know.
Loudon, New Hampshire.
Now, there are 15 different winners in 15 races. Who are the 5 that are in today's race?
Oh, now you're really throwing us a curve. Well, we know Jason Keller's won. He won last year.
Kenny Wallace.
Jeff Burton, we talked about him earlier. Randy LaJoy, we talked about him. We're missing one. Kenny Wallace.
You said him.
I said the same.
I said
Kenny Wallace.
Mike McLaughlin.
Magic shoes.
5 different prior winners in this race, which has never had a repeat winner.
That's pretty phenomenal when you think about it.
Let's take another look at what happened to Bobby Hamilton Jr. on his pit stop that has now got him in 12th place. Now watch the left rear. That's where the problem was.
Looked like the jack was dropped before the left rear man was completed.
Was it the left rear tire changer tire carrier who raised a hand? There's Fred Wanke's reaction. Raised a hand, went back to it, and the jackman may have seen that hand raise as a signal to drop it.
He might have been, but I've always told anybody that's ever jacked a race car, always see what you're supposed to see. You've got to make sure you see it, Mike, because it's that important. The jackman starts the stop, he ends the stop as we get ready to come back to green.
Good point from a former champion jackman as well as crew chief.
It's on the jackman's shoulders, though. That's the signal. When he drops the car, the driver did his job. He left.
That's right. He did his job. And Shane Mills doing his job as they go off through turn number 1, and he leads them down the back straightaway.
Jeff, you pointed out, I think, maybe actually while we were breaking, the real benefactor of that caution was Bobby Hamilton Jr. Let him catch up to the group because those leaders were getting away from him with him stuck back in the pack.
Right, so he restarts 12th, which, like you said, is like starting 23rd with all of the lap cars on the inside.
So he gained about 10 positions because of that caution flag right there and got him a little bit closer where he can see the leaders. If he can work his way through this lap traffic, he might get an opportunity to get a chance to get to them boys before the end of the day.
Right now, Hamilton is 15th in line, which includes 3 lap cars, so he's 12th in the race, 15th in line. Once he clears Kerry Earnhardt, he should have a chance to make some moves if the car is still capable. Meanwhile, out front, Shane Meal trying to distance himself from Todd Bodine, Mike McLaughlin, Jack Sprague, Jamie McMurray, Scott Riggs, and Randy LaJoy. Hamilton up against the back bumper of Wimmer. Going to duck inside. Let's check with Dick Berggren.
Well, Shane Meal came on the radio just a few moments ago, Mike, and what he wanted to know was what Todd Bodine had done to his race car during the last pit stop. Did he take 2 or 4? They didn't know. They guessed, however, Bodine had taken 4. Remember, Meal had taken just 2. His tires are not nearly as good. He's being told, drive the car straight, just use your head. So far, this 21-year-old kid has had an astonishing weekend, winning the pole and now leading this race. He could win a Busch Series event in just his 11th start. To Matt.
Dick, when Mother's Day weekend rolls around, we all think back of how our mothers have sacrificed throughout our years. I know mine has, and Mike McLaughlin told me his has. Back in the mid-70s, he had just started racing a dirt modified. At Rolling Wheels, he nearly destroyed the race car. Friends and family pooled their money to buy the parts and pieces to put the car back on the track, except he didn't have enough money to buy a new radiator. His mom, Katie, had been saving money in a cookie jar on top of her old refrigerator for wallpaper and a new refrigerator. She gave Mike the money. He bought the radiator to keep on racing, to chase that dream. What did Mike do? He paid her back by remodeling her house and getting her diamond earrings. But the biggest gift of all, at age 72, he gave her her first and only grandchild.
Neat story. 46 laps to go. There's McLaughlin in 3rd, behind Meal and Bodine.
Just to set up the tire situation, Shane Mill is leading this race, changing 2 tires on the last stop. But the 4 cars behind him, Todd Bodine, Mike McLaughlin, Jack Sprague, Jamie McMurray, they all changed 4, and then Scott Riggs in 6th and 10 car changed 2.
Meanwhile, Scott Riggs and Randy LaJoie continue to run nose to tail for 6th, and the fastest car on the racetrack remains Hamilton, who has climbed to 10th.
He's a little over 4 seconds behind leader Shane Neal.
Climbed to, let's see, 9th. Yes, he passes Kevin Grubb.
Biggest thing that Bobby Hamilton Jr. can hope for is that Shane Mill and Todd Bodine get up there and get to racing one another to allow him to get by some of these other cars to get to them. Otherwise, it may be as they may be already over.
Well, I believe that's fixing to happen, Jeff, because Todd Bodine in the 92, he's right on the rear bumper. That leader, Shane Mill, and Mike McLaughlin in the 18 car, he's watching what's going on with these 2 up there in 1st and 2nd.
All 3 of these leaders have ties to the Northeast. Shane Mill's dad, Steve, a native of the area of Albany, New York. Todd Bodine from Chemung, New York. Mike McLaughlin is from Waterloo, New York.
It looks like right now Todd Bodine in the 92, he's beating Shane Mill into the corner. Right here, watch him pull up on him. It was more like in turn 3 than turn 1, but Shane seems to be getting off the corner, especially off turn 4, a little better than Todd.
I believe he's listening to his dad as he says, drive it off straight, and that's exactly what Shane's doing right now, getting the car rotated and aiming it down that back straightaway before he gets wide open.
Right here's where Todd was so strong earlier, but he pays the price just a little bit on the exit right there. Just drive it in so deep the car just won't rotate, and he can't pick that throttle up.
And no matter how much you beat him into the corner, even if you beat him alongside him in the corner, the straightaway is located off the corner. That's where you've got to be good to win.
The further back in that corner you put that throttle down, the faster it's going to run down that straightaway.
I've always tried to preach to any guy I've worked with, make the straightaway longer than the center out, not getting in.
And it is now a 3-car race because McLaughlin is right there.
Jack Sprague in the 24 there, he's only about 1.5 tenths back.
Bodine looking way down low. Boy,
he was down on the apron off turn 2. But again, that's one of the things that a lot of the drivers bragged about this new configuration is you could run low or you could run high off turn 2. And before, it was like 1 lane wide how you could exit turn 2.
Now it's how low can you go?
That's as low as I've seen anybody right there.
I don't think he'd want to be much lower than that.
Behind them, Sprague in 4th, and then McMurray has been caught by Riggs and LaJoie for 5th. McMurray outside of Riggs, LaJoie right there, LaJoie outside of Riggs, and here comes Hamilton right with him. He's had the fastest car here, but his pit crew has put him in a hole now on 2 consecutive stops.
If he digs himself out of this right here, I think you can pretty much brand Bobby Hamilton Jr. as one whale of a race car driver today because he's come from the back a couple times.
2 good battles on this racetrack. Shane Mill leading Todd Bodine and Mike McLaughlin, and then McMurray out in front of LaJoie, Riggs, and Hamilton. No change among the front 3, though it's now a 4-car battle for the lead. Mill, Bodine, McLaughlin, and Sprague. However, they call Bobby Hamilton the Little Bull because he's short of stature and stocky. Maybe now they'll call him the Raging Bull because he is driving like a man who's mad.
And he should be.
But not at Jamie McMurray.
No, not at Jamie McMurray, but this is just called, I've got the best race car here. There's 33 laps to go, and I know if I can get to the front, I can win this race. Definitely nothing against Jamie McMurray.
Now, what did that pass, though, do to the right front, and has that hurt the handling of that car?
Well, according to the stopwatch, it hasn't. So, if anything, he's driving like a man possessed, but otherwise that car looks like it's still working no matter how much that right front fender is damaged.
Jason Keller's car is back out there, but it's not Jason, it's Andy Santerre. Matt, what's up?
Well, Mike, I stopped Steve Addington, who's walking back to his pit, and I said, what's the story? He said, well, we retorqued the heads, put some liquid sealer in the engine cranked up. I said, well, what happened to Jason? Because, well, we all thought the engine had blown up, so Jason had already gotten to his rental car and is heading toward the airport. Andy Santerre was standing around waiting for the Busch North race to start in about an hour and a half. So they put him in the car just to try to earn some more car owner points.
Well, nice of Andy to help out.
But unfortunately, he's back in the garage area. Why would he go back out there? If he ran another 4 or 5 laps, he could gain 3 more points by passing Greg Biffle.
Well, last week, but for the mistake in setting up the fuel pickup, Bobby Hamilton might well have won Richmond. This week, but for the 2 mistakes on pit road, he might well have won here. But it's not over. 6 cars are knotted up for the lead with 26 laps to go, and young Hamilton is one of them in 5th place. Here he goes after Jack Sprague.
Jack Sprague, though, shuts the door on the bottom of the racetrack right now. What I've been watching, Jeff and I were looking all during the break, Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's not like a kamikaze pilot getting off in the corner, but that thing rolls through the middle, and he's able to pick that throttle up and go down the straightaway so good.
He really is, and this is right where, once again, the crew chief and the spotter need to coach him a little bit. He's got a lot of good race cars in front of him, and he needs to be careful to try to keep the nose on that car and not get caught up in somebody else's mistake.
Hamilton's 25, got past Randy LaJoie fairly easily, but now he's up against one of the best door slammers in NASCAR, Jack Sprague.
In that 24 car.
But he's got position once again, guys, so now if he can beat him down in that corner, this is where it's going to get interesting.
Slam.
Boy, Randy LaJoie tried to go in there as deep as Bobby Hamilton and Jack Sprague did. He washed way up the racetrack in the 7 car. But one last time, Shane Mill leading this race in that 47 car. Just remember, we're at lap 177. A tip of the hat to Goodyear and to Shane Mill to that race team. That's 100 and something laps on those left side tires. Remember, back on lap 131, he changed just right side tires versus most of the other leaders changing 4.
And look how competitive this race has become. 23 laps to go. Any one of 6 cars could win it. This is a far cry from the old configuration where Jeff Burton came here and led every single lap of a Winston Cup race.
Well, we've got ourselves a win of a race today, Mike. That's for sure.
Now, Jeff, where a difference could come with those 2 tires with 22 laps to go, it's fine out there by yourself. When he catches lap traffic, the car could not be able to be maneuvered as good 2 tires versus some of the cars with fresher left side tires.
Now, when he has to maybe move up to the outside and try to work around some of his lap traffic and he gets into it, it's going to be about another 5 or 6 laps he's going to have that issue. But again, it may not be that long because Todd Bodine's getting ready to put some more pressure on him as we're speaking right now.
Yeah, he went to work on Shane going down into turn 3, was right up against the bumper. And now we ride with McLaughlin, who sits in 3rd. Sprague right behind him, then Hamilton, then LaJoie, and Riggs a bit further back.
Bobby Hamilton was picking him off about 1 or 2 cars a lap. When he gets to the top 5, it gets a little tougher.
All right, we'll be back to finish this off as we come up on 20 laps to go. Any of 6 cars could win it. Neal, Bodine, McLaughlin, Sprague, Hamilton, LaJoie. Hard to believe here at Loudon, 16 laps to go, but Bobby Hamilton Jr., after coming from the back twice, has fought his way to 3rd. Here's how he got past Mike McLaughlin. McLaughlin battled with Todd Bodine and then got up high, and Hamilton underneath. A little trade of paint.
That's the old 8 tires is better than 4 routine right there. You go down in the corner.
He's able to turn it back down and come off turn 2.
And now he's after Todd Bodine, and he slips underneath Bodine entering turn 3 and goes after Shane Meal.
Got 15 laps to go, 14 laps this time by. I believe Shane's going to have his hands full now with Bobby Hamilton Jr. as good as that car can.
And one thing we've been noticing about Bobby Hamilton Jr., when he gets here, he gets it to bite up off the corner, and he gets position on Shane down the back straightaways. We enter turn 3.
The first restart, he was 36th in line. On the last one, he took the green flag 23rd in line. And he has fought his way to the lead. Despite 2 bad miscues on pit road, Bobby Hamilton Jr., as he was last Friday night, is in position to win.
He just needs to put as much distance as he can on those guys right now. Not overdrive his race car, because there's several cars up in front of him, lap cars, that he's going to catch. But, you know, Shane Mill in 2nd, regardless of the outcome, I think that kid has showed a lot today. He sat on the pole. He's led 61 laps. Quite a day for that young man.
A lot of poise. He's shown he'll be 21 or 22 next week. Got a birthday this month. 22. Now the lap traffic is double file in front of Hamilton.
Just needs to show a little bit of patience right there, Mike, because his car, look here, plenty good to get off the corner and get by these guys. Just making it look easy. This car is really working well.
12 to go. Sprague against Meal.
You know the best thing that Bobby Hamilton's got going for him right now, unless he is the caution, he won't be coming to pit road anymore.
Right.
Now, pretty much the crews are they're finished pitting because it's this close to the end. Plus, they've all used their 2 sets of tires.
Sprague got past Shade Meal. Ed Renzi, who owns that Marines team.
I don't think a lot know the background of Ed Renzi. He's one of the guys that brought McDonald's to Winston Cup racing. He won't even look.
But he loved racing so much, he wanted his own race team.
Well, I think after last Saturday night, he knows it's not over until the checker flag drops.
And that'll happen in 10 laps.
Fred Wanke, the crew chief, told me this morning those guys had the problem at Richmond on Friday night. They went back to the shop. They worked all day Saturday and Sunday, got ready for a test out at Lowe's Motor Speedway Monday and Tuesday. They've been about 3 or 4 weeks. See, this Busch Series, they're on a 14-week stretch right now without any off weeks. And these guys are working 7 days a week right now.
Hamilton Jr. trying to become Loudoun's 16th different winner in 16 Busch Series races. Finished 3rd at Nashville, his career best. And started in the Slim Jim All-Pro Series and the Southern All-Stars. Had 5 top 5s in his first 6 ARCA races and actually got to run some Winston Cup last season for the Morgan McClure team. And he's 9 laps away from what I think is one of the most tremendous comebacks we've seen, not just all season, but in the past several seasons.
He's pulled out to a 2.5 lead, as you said, Jeff. Unless he's the caution, unless he has a problem, pretty much he just needs to be smooth and hit his marks from here and be patient. He's still going to catch another lap car, too, as he runs the cone. I believe that's Jimmy Kitchens as they go through 3 and 4 in the 77 car.
If you're his crew chief or spotter, you're telling him right now to hold a pretty wheel. Don't worry about what's going on behind you. We'll keep them off of you. Hit your marks. Be smooth and be smart.
I mean, he just ran a 29.87. That's only 0.4 of a second slower than he qualified sitting on the outside pole. And that was passing a car.
And I might be telling him to slow down a little bit, too.
Todd Bodine alone in 2nd. Jack Sprague safe in 3rd. 4th is the battle on the track. Shane Meal trying to hold off Mike McLaughlin and Randy LaJoy. 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And I think what's happening, those tires, those left side tires on Shane Meal, 130-something laps, they're really starting to really take over now with Mike McLaughlin on 4 tires, Randy LaJoy on 4. But I still go along with the call those made. Jerry Kennan made that call. The kid led the race for a long time. It was not out of it, you know, by no means.
No, I think he probably learned something. He's been about 10 laps of making that whole deal work the way he wanted it to. But he's starting to have a little bit of trouble keeping that car on the bottom like he wants.
Finishing 4th, nothing to be ashamed of. He got the pole here, 2nd one, and right now looking for a 4th place finish. 5 to go for Bobby Hamilton Jr.
He's catching still a bunch of lap traffic, though, that's just running quite a bit slower than his pace he's keeping right now. But he's pulled out to almost a 2-second lead over Todd Bodine.
Definitely doesn't need to be pushing it when it comes to these lap cars. They seem like they're working with him quite well. Shane Hall pulls over and lets the 25 car go by.
He ran a 29.78 that time, passing 2 cars.
Taking no prisoners and taking no chances. 4 to go. Next Sunday, the Busch Series moves to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. You'll see that on FX. And then they come back to Lowe's Motor Speedway to finish off the month of May.
Ready to go.
It had to give Bobby quite a boost last Friday night to know that he had a car that, I hate to keep saying, but it's so true in racing so often, coulda, woulda, shoulda won that race.
I mean, that's the thing about our sport. Unlike a lot of sports, it's not over until that checkered flag waves. I mean, it don't matter how big of a lead you've had, how many laps you've led, it's not over until it's over. A lot of things can happen to these race cars.
But the best thing about last Saturday night or Friday night is the fact that this young man's confidence probably hit an all-time high And he came here, and right now it looks like he's on the verge of putting the period on the fact that, hey, boys, I'm real.
2 to go. Remember at Talladega, in the July race, the Talladega 500, the Cup race, we had 14 races and 14 different faces in victory lane. But there's no longer active string than this one here at Loudon. I'm not sure what the longest in racing is, but this has got to be close.
White flag. Well, we're about a mile away from being 16 winners in 16 races. He could pretty much just ride behind these guys right here. I mean, he has a 2.5-second lead over Todd Bodine.
He climbed from the tail end of the field after a miscue on the first pit stop. He climbed from the tail end of the field, 23rd on the restart in line, all the way to the lead. He started outside pole, and in his 96th start, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is a Busch Series winner.
And the Marines have landed.
Yes, they have. And there's plenty of them here to help celebrate.
I'm telling you right now, that's the best thing about it, is they've got some actual members of the United States Marine Corps. You can see right there the jubilation that this thing is over with, guys. It's great to have the first victory.
He joined Scott Riggs as first-time winners in 2002. And he's the second first-time winner here at Loudon. Derek Cope in 1994 got his first Busch win at this speedway. 7th different winner this season. Well, Dick Berggren.
And the winning crew chief, Fred Wanke, 53 years old, 11 wins in the Truck Series. Finally, you got it.
Finally is right. I'll tell you what, we did everything we could do to take it away from Bobby. This race is his. He did it all himself. Tell you, the Marines Ford was such a good car, and it was such a good car last week. And then the Yates Power. I mean, the guys at the shop. I mean, you know.
What's this mean to you? After all these years, after all these races, this is the biggest. What does this moment mean?
This is awful big. I mean, I've tried for years and years to win a car race. Won a lot of truck races. Hadn't won a car race. You know, I was beginning to think I couldn't do it. But, you know, when you got Bobby Hamilton Jr., I'll tell you, the kid has gotten so good lately. And this is all him right here. You know, we tried to take it away from him, but he wouldn't let us.
Well, he's got a pretty good crew chief in Grandpa Fred Wanke. The crew is celebrating. The Marines are celebrating. And everybody here is just jumping up and down. It's a big, big day for Team Marines. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. Ed Renzi and his whole team will be in victory lane with Bobby Hamilton Jr., and we'll talk to him. Stephanie, his wife, running on down to victory lane here as Bobby Hamilton Jr. has won at Loudon. Bobby Hamilton Jr. celebrates here at New Hampshire. After standing on the windowsill of his car and saluting the fans with a Marine flag in hand, he's now made it to victory lane. Matt's there.
And he leaps off the door into a mosh pit of Marines.
Good job, Bob.
Bobby Jr., the Marines certainly earned your salute with the flag, and you certainly earned this win today.
Well, I tell you, Fred, it's my baby. Fred Wanke, he is the man. He got this thing dialed in where it's a little bit loose. Team Marines, Ford, Robert Yates, and Doug Yates. God, dog, what a motor. I could waddle through the turns and shoot down the straightaway. All these guys down there.
Remember the dog.
Oh, hi, Coco.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. My wife, Winnebago Motorhomes. Everybody's been behind me this so long, man. This is great. I never thought I'd come to New Hampshire and pick up a trophy here, but I damn sure take it.
Everybody kept rubbing your head for good luck, and it seemed like you had and needed that good luck today.
I didn't want to be so cocky, but I knew we had the car to beat, man. This thing will cut through the center. Only regret I don't have here today is my dad. He's been behind me, kicking me a tail, keeping me straight. I love all y'all at home, and just a great job for all these guys. They deserve it.
How special will this win be for him, because you two are very close?
He's wasted a lot of money on me getting me to this spot, you know, and now that we're here, I give him like if he was here or whatever to see his trophy. And but like I said, I just want to thank everybody that's been behind this, Team Marines and all the Marines that got around here, and all these guys. This man right here.
I tried to take it from you, didn't
I? A team got rid of him last year, and I said that'd be the downfall of that deal. And he come over here and it picked this whole deal up. Like I said, Robert Yates, everybody, We love y'all. Thanks for everything.
And you never lost your confidence today, having to battle back and battle back.
That's these guys. Ronnie Smith kept talking to me on the radio, calming me down. Here we are.
Now, Stephanie, you were all tears. How did you hold your breath for those last 20 laps?
I was ready to puke. I was so loud.
Well, it's a special win, special day down here in Victory Lane. Dick?
Well, I'm with Todd Bodine. It was almost a special win. He's getting a hug from Rambo Liberati, his crew chief. Almost got him, almost got him. Todd, what'd you need to pass?
Well, our car get a little tight on long runs, and up there behind Shane, it was really tight, and it started wearing the front tires out. 25 come up there, got us both, shook Shane up a little bit. I got by Shane, and there was no running with Bobby. Their car was perfect. Fred done a great job with that team, but I tell you what, Tony's done a great job with our team. It's an awesome race car, Excedrin Chevrolet. Herzogs give us everything. Randy, Stan, man, you should have been here. It was a great weekend.
But the back end of your race car is all beat up. What happened back there, Todd?
Well, that was on the start. They kind of jacked up. They didn't get going. And Jason Keller running the back of me. That's a damn shame because he's a good racer. He had a good car. It's tough to get out right at the start like that. But, we made it through. The car was really good. It was terrible in happy hour. And Rambo and myself put our heads together. And Scott, our shot guy, and Mike, we all thought about it. We come up with a good setup. Just common sense things that made the car better, and it really worked good.
In the closing laps, you went up on Jerry Kinnon's pit box when the 47, Shane Meal, his driver, was leading. You were second. What did you tell Jerry Kinnon? Or what did you ask him?
Well, he said that we was talking this morning, and Jerry helped me out a lot. I asked him what he was doing, and he helped us, gave us a lot of information. And
he gave you setup information, and you're running second?
Yeah. Yeah, sure enough. I mean, we got our friends in there. I mean, there's guys we hold hands with, and there's guys we lie to. And Jerry's one of the guys that does good for us. And he said that if he could get his little rookie driver to settle down and run 2 laps that are exactly the same, he'd be good. And I went up there and called him a liar. I said, that boy is driving his butt off. He's doing a heck of a job. I'm going to tell you, Shane Meal done a heck of a job today. And the Marine Corps car with Bobby Hamilton and Fred, them guys done a heck of a job. And I'm just glad to come home second.
You guys did well, too. Second spot for Todd Bodine, his best finish of the year. To my joy.
Thanks, Dick. Well, you got to love a first-time winner.
I mean, you love first-time winner, but you have to love this sport. I mean, there's the guys that finished second, congratulating the team that won this race, congratulating the team that won fourth, that battled them there a lot of the laps. I mean, that's the great thing about the sport. You race each other hard, but you also pull for each other.
All right, let's meet up with the third-place finisher, who is the new point leader, Matt.
And, Mike, he's actually debriefing with Todd Bodine, talking about and comparing their race days. And what'd you say when I walked up?
That was a miracle. I tell you, I never, we left here last night after happy hour. I was pissed off. Dennis was pissed off. I mean, this was the worst I've been since the beginning of the year. I couldn't grab nothing. Brand new car, and we're like, man, what is wrong? I don't know. He went back and talked to I Dream of Genie or something, and he came back this morning and changed 23 things on that car, including 4 springs, 4 shocks, track bar, weight, everything. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I couldn't be much worse. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't awesome, but I mean, on the short run, it was terrible. Then on the long run, it get decent. And we were a third-place car. I mean, it was probably 10 spots better than I thought we were going to finish or more. My hat's off to these guys, man. They keep digging. The Net Zero Chevrolet was pretty good. I'd like to say hi to my mom. Happy Mother's Day. Talk to you tomorrow. And, hey, I'm shocked. I can't believe it was that good.
Now, you always say how you're not a points racer, but points-wise, you came out pretty good today, considering the misfortune that Keller had. You're going to retake, unofficially, the points lead.
Well, I never said I wasn't a points racer. That's what this team actually strives on, is points. Unfortunately, when you do that, you don't win as many battles, but you try to win the war. And, there's a couple races we very easily could have won this year, and I wanted them bad. But, at one point I thought I had a shot here today, but it just got a little too tight, which is way better than I was all day yesterday. So, hey, my hat's off to these guys and Net Zero and Rick Hendrick and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. I had a great motor today. Last 2 weeks I've had awesome motors. I'm happy.
23 changes, and that's a third-place finish in New Hampshire. Dick?
Well, until today, Shane Meal's career best finish was his first career start in this series, a 5th at Daytona in February. Now, today, he finishes 4th. Is it disappointing not to win the race, or gratifying that you've got your career best finish here at a racetrack you had never run on?
Oh, no. It's, 50 laps to go. I was thinking, man, they're all over me. I'm trying as hard as I can. I said, you kind of know when you can win a race, and today wasn't really our day to win a race. A dumb driver wore the stuff out very quickly, but man, I was trying hard. It just shows how good our team is. Thomas County Classics team was just excellent today. With the decision by my crew chief to put on 2 tires at the end was by far the best move we've done all year, because we didn't ever finish 4th with 4 tires. So I just want to thank everybody and say hey to all the mothers and grandmothers and have a good day tomorrow.
What was that car like on just 2 tires when you had other people chasing you on 4 fresh tires?
I just needed to beat them off the corner. If I could beat them off the corner, they could not beat me in or to the center. So it was really good for us. 2 tires wasn't bad. Nobody was going to touch the 25. It was just how long it took him to get to the front. But it was exciting.
Is it easier to listen to your dad, who's your spotter, telling you what to do out here at 140 and 150 miles an hour, or was it easier when you were in high school and he was telling you what time to come home from a date?
Oh, I'd say it's a lot easier now, because for one, he was gone all the time, and my mom stayed at home, and you know, we were always just me and her, my mom and my little brother. So I don't know. I think racing with him's a lot easier than trying to get him to let me come in later. I know that's for sure.
Terrific run as Shane Meal gets his career best finish. To Matt Yoakum.
Well, Shane Meal uses video games to help his racing prowess. Mike McLaughlin just has years of experience, and it almost paid off for you today.
Yeah, I've got quite a few laps here. Loudon's been pretty good to me, and these guys have done a good job. The MBNA crew changed a lot of stuff for the race. We're a lot better than we were in qualifying mode, and a little too tight in race mode, but we'll take it.
A lot of people thought those 4 tires were going to be the ticket.
When I see the 10 car go sliding up, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Still a pretty tough little racetrack to pass. You've got to have a pretty good car. You know, but we'll take it. Top 5. We'll go to Nazareth and work on it from there.
Now, you have 6 wins overall here at New Hampshire. You've got a lot of laps. What do you think about the changes to the racetrack now?
I think it's a little more forgiving. It's still, I think the older groove still seems to be the little bit quicker groove. You can do a little bit more with the apron, per se, to get the car to do some different things, but a little more forgiving, pretty much same racetrack.
Mike McLaughlin comes home 5th today in New Hampshire. Mike?
Came in here 8th in points, and with trouble for Stacy Compton, he'll move up at least a spot. Here's a look at the last pass for first place.
And it was all over from there as far as who was going to win this race. Now, see ya. I'm gone.
And after the checkered flag, Bobby Hamilton Jr. came around, saluted the crowd, and his sponsor, the Marines. More from Loudon in a moment. Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire, where Bobby Hamilton Jr. has won the Busch 200 here on FX, presented by AT&T Unlimited. And there's a look at your top 10.
Good solid run for Hank Parker Jr. Started back in 14th, just kind of hung out in the top 10 all day long. And Jamie McMurray, who showed a lot of strength early in the race, finishes 9th.
Wimmer, Sauter, Jeff Purvis, Ron Hornaday, and Ricky Hendrick all finished on the lead lap.
Yeah, Hornaday really gave that 26 car, I think, a good run and a nice turnaround.
And, you know, it's only coincidence that the 2 fellows who described our race last night were scarcely seen today on coverage. Nothing intentional.
Not at all.
And thanks a lot to Hank Parker Jr. and Jeff Purvis for coming up and helping out last night.
There you see Jason Keller, 32nd, but you have to give his crew an attaboy. Continue to try to get that race car out there, but his 34 consecutive races of running at the end comes to an end here today at Loudon.
The point standings will take a tumble. Keller loses the point lead to Jack Sprague. LaJoy, Riggs, McLaughlin, big move for McLaughlin from 8th to 5th. Kenny Wallace, Greg Biffle, Stacy Compton drops down. Bobby Hamilton Jr. from 10th to 9th, and Scott Wimmer from 9th to 10th.
We're still a good battle in this Busch Series top 10.
Let's meet another fellow who took on 2 tires on that final stop. Here's Matt.
The Chocolate Milk Kid. Now, you took on 2 tires, but you felt like it really didn't hurt you.
I don't think our lap times were really that bad because we took 2 tires on. I just hate I slipped there at the end. You know, we had been working on it all day, and I think I probably had the most different line around the racetrack than anybody else. I'd get in the corner and have to go down real low, let it slide all the way up to the other, you know, the old groove, and then try to come back across the apron. And I had to hit it just right, and I needed all the racetrack I could. And that's why I couldn't really race hard. I couldn't, even though I could catch somebody, I couldn't get past them just because it was so, it was such a odd line that I was having to use to get on the racetrack. But you know, everybody did a great job on the Nesquik Ford Taurus, and you know, Robert Yates' engines definitely helped getting down the straightaways. But just I just hate we missed a little bit, but, you know, we needed to finish, even though we couldn't finish where we wanted to. It's good we finished where we did.
Now, when I talked to you and Harold Holly, your crew chief, this morning in the truck, you guys were kind of guessing, not really sure what to expect today.
Well, we didn't, you know, just because Harold had thrown everything at the race car. I mean, thrown everything at it. We had changed the balance so much during yesterday's practice and not seen any effect on the race car. So it was something that that we were just missing. And you know, here we are rolling it up on the trailer right now, and when the trailing arm's bent, and I didn't hit anything. So you know, maybe something small like that could have done it, and just you know, we overlooked it and couldn't see it, and something happened. But you know, my faith's all in these guys, and Harold Holly does a great job, and my faith's in him, and his faith's in me, and all the guys, all the PPC Renegades, I call them. They all did a good job today.
Scott Riggs comes home 7th here in New Hampshire. Dick?
Randy LaJoie started the day in 5th position, finished the day in 6th position. But that was one wounded race car that they just loaded into your hauler. What was going on out there today to cause all those wrecks, Randy?
Restarts. I'm not sure if somebody up front might have checked up and got everybody bundled up. Looked like that's what happened there at the end. I think it happened there at the beginning, too. It just caught our right front and knocked our right front in a little bit, body work, which tightened our car up pretty good. The old Kleenex Chevy was really good off the truck. I got to thank Wally and the guys at Evans Motorsports. They do a great job, you know, preparing these race cars. You know, but for us to contend for a championship, we're going to have to get a lot better on pit road. You know, not many cars passed us on the racetrack today, but we did get beat by a lot on pit road. So these guys are going to work real hard. I mean, it was a new race team last year, and they've done a great job. So they know what they got to do to compete to win a championship. You know, we're biding our own. I think we're second in points, or third in points. We're still in the hunt, and we're going to get this Kleenex Chevy a championship, hopefully.
Well, you've got 2 championships yourself, and this morning I talked to your crew chief, Wally Rogers, and he said you guys had a legitimate shot to win. All the experience that you have had in this Busch Series, is it still frustrating when you go into a race and you know you've got a real good shot to win the thing, you get tied up with a bunch of things, have a couple of bad pit stops, and end the day in 6th spot instead? Does it get any easier as time goes on?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. You don't dog cuss the guys on the radio, you know, because they beat themselves up enough. They know what they have to do to perform, and you know, it's just like me yesterday afternoon when I whacked the wall on happy hour. You know, it just, you know, I come in and I was aggravated that I run into the darn wall, and then the guy fixed the car, and I went out and run the fastest laps I had all day. You know what you do, and then you fix it. So as long as we fix it, you know, we're going to contend for a championship week in and week out. We tested in Nazareth, left there and went to ground zero with the guys, and then that's quite a sight. And then we went to my dad's junkyard. The guys seen a shredder working, and went to Spalding, seeing how to make golf balls, and you know, really, it's been a great week. Just too bad we don't have the finish that we need. But we're going to Nazareth. You know, Bobby Hamilton, I got to congratulate those guys, the Marines. He must have had those Marines pulling for him, because they're in the Winston Cup zone today. They had us covered really the last 2 weeks. So we're going to go to Nazareth. Where are we going? Nazareth next week?
Nazareth next week.
Then we tested, and I'm looking forward to it, because we got some good racetracks coming up, and we got to sneak a win in for this Kleenex Chevy.
It's coming soon. To Matt Yoakum.
Well, Dick, for the 2nd time this week, Hank Parker Jr. scores a top 10. And what I mean by that, on Tuesday, he was internet racing with his good buddy Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Shane Meals. Shane helped draft you up to the front and take the win, but he couldn't help you out here today. But you did score a top 10 here.
Yeah, when we get ready to go to Daytona, I'll know who my drafting partner is going to be. But, yeah, we had a good car. We were a lot better yesterday in happy hour. And today it just was too tight to pass. I just couldn't. My car was good. I just couldn't pass. I was burning my brakes up and doing everything I could to get that GNC car to the front, but we struggled a little bit.
Do you feel like you and Gary are gaining with this Dodge?
We are. You know, there's a big learning curve ahead of us at the beginning of the year, and, you know, we're knocking out piece by piece, and we're getting better every week, but it's just, you know, we kind of get along stumbling blocks. Like, we thought we were going to be a lot better here today because of Richmond, but there's some more things we need to learn, but we're on our way to learning.
Now, you are an R&D driver for Papyrus with the NASCAR games. How much does that help you? Because obviously you beat Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the game this past week. How much does that help you really on the racetrack?
Well, I didn't get a check like he got for winning Daytona. I can guarantee you that. But, you know, it does a lot for your concentration, your motor skills. And it's really easy to wreck somebody on the video game, so you don't, you know, you learn how to race side by side without wrecking people. And it's a great source of entertainment. It's a lot of fun and gives me a good chance to tell everybody Dale Earnhardt Jr. is my buddy.
A little Hank, 8th here in New Hampshire. Mike?
Good run for him today. Folks here are waiting on the Busch North race that they'll see a little later today, and you'll see on Speed Channel in coming weeks. But the NASCAR Busch Series is on FX for their next 3 races. Nazareth next Sunday, Charlotte in 2 weeks, and then Dover, Delaware, all here on FX. Be right back. Another big weekend of racing coming up across the Fox networks on FX. Qualifying and practice on Friday for the Winston Open and the Winston. On Saturday, NASCAR this morning on the net, the Winston Open and Stock Car Racing's All-Star Tilt, the Winston, on FX. Next Sunday, these Busch Series cars in the Stacker 200 on FX from Nazareth, and then NASCAR Victory Lane All Access on the net for next Sunday. Let's check with Dick Bergeron.
With Scott Wimmer in the Siemens car, he came into this race 9th in points. Last week he finished 8th in Richmond, 11th today. It just seems as if every week you are there. What's happening? This team is getting better.
Yeah, we're getting a lot better, and you know, Siemens Pontiac was good today. Pit stops are great. We just need to keep our momentum up. It's not long. We're going to turn the corner. We're going to be up there every week for the win.
You look pretty good today. You really did. Back to Mike Joy.
Well, Larry, Jeff, I think we've seen a racetrack that is going to give us better racing than before, especially when the Winston Cup cars come back here in July and September.
I agree completely, Mike. And the other good thing about what I saw today, with the exception we lost, a couple of engines that created caution flags, I think we saw guys be able to be more competitive than ever and not really create, wrecks, you might say. And I don't think it's always good for the competitors. When they know they can come in and run side by side, it's a much more encouraging place to come to.
Pretty competitive show here. 15 cars finished up on the lead lap. When Animals Attack 3 is coming up next, which has nothing to do with any. I got a bad joke there about the wreck last Friday night at Richmond. I'll just leave it on the table.
But
never mind, no correlation.
Again, like Jeff said, only 4 cautions. A lot of those was either engines blown or single car accidents. And it's been a long time. I don't know we've ever been here and saw 6 cars bidding for the win with less than 20 laps to go in a Busch Series race or a Winston Cup race for that matter.
I don't think we ever have, Larry. I think we got to commend them for doing what they did here at this racetrack, because now we can do that.
Good competitive race. Our thanks to the Bear family who promote this racetrack and really work hard to make sure that it's a fan-friendly and a competitor-friendly racetrack. And our congratulations to Ed Renzi, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and that whole team. Boy, talk about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. They did it twice today.
And I think they definitely go straight to the top of the charts for the motto, never give up, especially Bobby Hamilton Jr. himself.
Great day for him. I really am proud of that young man, because he didn't quit. He didn't let last week affect his effectiveness when he got to this racetrack this week. Did a great job.
16 races, 16 different winners. Congratulations, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and happy Mother's Day, everybody.